What's up, SNA Assassinator? Super Ninja Austin back here hours later after making a wrestling news video. And this is the Money in the Bank review video on July 6th, 2024. And man, what a very fantastic pay-per-view or premium live event. Let me rephrase that, excuse me. But yeah, we had so many surprises, surprise returns, and some shocking moments, and by them following up what could possibly could happen at Money in the not Money, but SummerSlam, the biggest part of the summer, with three matches looking like it's already available now, like with the Women's Championship match and the WWE Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship. Well, before Money in this premium live event was even before it was even the day of the premium live event, they already confirmed, Bayley's going to definitely face Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Championship at SummerSlam already, because she didn't have to defend her title tonight on tonight's premium live event, of course. But that's another story for another day. But we got some confirmation from the other two matches for the World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE Championship on who's going to be facing who when that day comes. But let's get to the point and then talk about the ladder match, which is started off with. Well, I started the show, which I've hardly even seen the match. Like, the only thing I can remember is the finish. But I'm gonna try to go back and go back and remember like what exactly happened. But yeah, I start off with Jey Uso entered the ring, and then there was others like Chad Gable, Drew McIntyre, Andrade, and who else? And Carmelo Hayes. This is where we got the match starting. It was a complete cluster. I'll say. But this is where the only thing I can remember is saying like that's what Michael Cole is calling Drew McIntyre a hypocrite once he got entered the ring. This was he's a hypocrite for getting in the Money in the Bank match, even though he don't like the Money in the Bank concept, because he got screwed out of that pay-per-view like about twice before, like this year and then 3 years ago prior, like when the last time he was WWE champion or World Heavyweight champion, whatever you want to call a world champion, whatever you want to call. This is where we got all the participants start targeting at each other, like with what's the LA Knight going to the Carmelo Hayes, and then we got Chad Gable and Jey Uso, and then Drew McIntyre and Andrade, until we got LA Knight and Jey Uso got to Drew McIntyre. They did a double clothesline, that redid the spot like a little replay of what they did 24 hours prior, until Chad Gable went right back at the guys that they were just brawling with. They attacking this, where started hitting the right hands to the baby faces. Oh, yeah, respectively, with Chad Gable in the upper left side with Jey Uso, while Carmelo Hayes was in the middle in the ring. Like, this is where we got Carmelo Hayes through LA Knight. But this is where LA Knight counters. This is where he made a ginormous mistake by bowing his head way before Carmelo Hayes was coming his way. But as soon as he knew that he was not going to do anything about it, because he did not know when he was coming, he gets kicked right into the head. And I was like, yeah, that's why you shouldn't bow your head sooner. Like, rather wait until they are about to head their way, then put your head down and then get ready to hit the body drop. But this is where we got Carmelo Hayes then ran right to the bottom corner ropes after he did that. But this is where he gets hit with that jetpack power slam that LA Knight did. But this is where Jey Uso then hit a Samoan drop on the Chad Gable once he got back on his feet and made a comeback. But this is where we got Jey Uso and LA Knight start staring at each other. This was the battle of the Y words, yeah and yeet. And then all saying like which fans are going to be saying yeet, and then the other one said yeah. Like, yeah, that's a good question. Like, we had half that were doing both. Like that, yeah. This is where, like, once they start hitting some strikes onto each other, this is where we got Corey Graves like, yeah, pick a side. Like, you got Team D or Team Yeah. But this is where they start fighting each other when they saw Melo and let's say Chad Gable were getting back up and trying to get in the ring. This is where LA Knight and Jay notice this is where we got LA Knight then going for a baseball sliding kick right into Chad Gable. Jey Uso hit a suicide dive on the Mello. This is where they knock him. That's where then LA Knight and this is where LA Knight and Jey Uso then say like, now where were we? This is where we got LA Knight that say, come here, like we need to finish what he started. We got unfinished business that we need to attend to. But before they can even do anything, this is where we got Drew McIntyre grab onto a ladder, got back in the ring, and double clothesline him with that ladder with it laying sideways onto the arm of the Scotsman. This is where he hits Chad Gable with it, and then the same with Carmelo. Once they got back in the ring, this is where we got Drew McIntyre's like, okay, I'm the last one standing. I might as well hurry up and get up there before anybody gets right back up. This is where he tried to do so by climbing on top of the ladder. This is where he tried to, then he tried to grab onto the briefcase, but this is where Chad Gable then got up on the ladder. This is why I was thinking, like, maybe Matt Hardy was right on his Extreme Life podcast earlier. Like, even though that was not the truth with one of these guys, like, but they were kind of teasing it that it could be either one. Well, let's just say, like, we're just going to keep watching to the very end on who could possibly be the winner. This is where we got Chad Gable hitting some right hands, but this is where Drew McIntyre hit a right hand right back at him. This is where we try to reach for the briefcase, but this is where we got Chad Gable stopping. This is where we tried to hit him with some kind of a suplex maneuver, but it's where then he was like, I have a better idea. He grabbed onto his arm, wrapped his legs around it. This is where he hits him with like some kind of an arm bar right off the top of the ladder. This is where Drew McIntyre like, no. Like, that's all my only good arm. Like, stop. And this is where he wouldn't let go. This is where he's like, no, I'm not letting go until you get down. This is where Drew McIntyre's like, never. Like, keep dreaming, twerp. And then this is where then Andrade was like, yeah, while you guys dreaming, I'm going to be Mr. Money in the Bank this year. Just where he springboard right off the right corner ropes, bounce off, hit a double drop kick right into the head of Chad Gable. This is where he did his little his El Idolo pose, like he laid right here in the middle of the ring. This is where he's like grabbing onto his left right arm. That's where fans were chanting "Holy Sugar on the Iced Tea," but we can hear clear as day because this was on a streaming service on Peacock and outside the country, wherever you get your streaming from. Like it said, Holy Sugar and the Iced Tea. I don't know about the guys that has different kind of streaming services outside of America, but hey, you can hear it say clear as day because they're not on USA nor Fox or any other TV broadcasting channel because, streaming services will allow the fans to say the not so very PG languages. And let me tell you, this is not the only time we're going to be hearing the fans go non-PG mode, like in a match, like later on this premium live event tonight. This is where we got Andrade then whack LA Knight face first right with the ladder. This is where he pick it up, put the ladder, put it right in the middle of the canvas. This is where we got Andrade then climbing up, right up on the ladder. This is where we got Carmelo Hayes try to stop the leader of El Idolo, hit him with a right hand. This is where then Andrade was like, okay, like you want to play that game, like I can play with you. This is where he started hitting the right hand. This is where Carmelo Hayes hit a forearm right back at him. Andrade hits one right back. This is where he thought he'd knock him out for good, but he did not realize he was still standing on his feet. Once he got back into consciousness, this is where Andrade was like halfway there on the ladder, but this is where Carmelo Hayes hit a springboard crossbody clothesline right onto the former NXT champion or fellow former NXT champion. Even though Melo came to WWE like right after Andrade left, like, but anyways, this is where we got on his first one, of course, but this is where we got Carmelo Hayes grabbed onto Andrade, placed him face first right onto the ladder. This is where then Carmelo Hayes then did his him pose. This is where fans are like, boo, you're not going to be him. You never will. This is where he tried to go for the lion salt right off the bottom row. But this is where we got Andrade intercepting. Fans were up their feet. They were being very excited and happy for the El Idolo to get on there on the ladder with him. Hit a springboard Russian leg sweep, face buster majig, face first, right onto the ladder. This is where Carmelo Hayes was like, my ribs, like this is the most worst pain I ever felt in my whole entire wrestling career. This is where we got fans that start saying Holy Sugar on the Iced Tea again because Andrade did it again, like if he's Britney Spears. This is where then we got Carmelo Hayes and roll out of the ring. This is where we got main event Jey Uso and Chad Gable got into the ring. I know it was Drew McIntyre. This is where he went face to face. This is where Drew McIntyre like, you, like the man that the second wrestler that ruined my life in this business, like you. And then this is where Jey Uso's like, yeah, you, the man that just don't know how to forgive people. This is where Drew McIntyre is like, yeah, but the things you did to me was unforgettable. And then this is where look, like I'm trying to get get you to forgive me, but it seems like I'm gonna have to beat it out of you. This is where he started hitting the right hand to the face. This is where we got what's his name? Jey Uso. This is where then Drew McIntyre fought back. This is where at first they started chanting CM Punk until they started cheering for Jey Uso by saying yeet. And then this is where they hit a spear right onto the Scotsman. This is where then Jey Uso like, ooh, so then this is where then he hit a super kick right in the midsection of Chad Gable, hit an uppercut. This is where then we got do a kick right to the midsection. This is where we got he spin him around. He had to step up against the gear right to the head. This is where then we got Jey Uso go for a kip up. This is where then we got Jey Uso then grab onto the ladder. This is where then we got he said this is where then he put it right onto the wedge it right into the bottom rope. This is where we got Jey Uso to try to go for a Samoan drop. But this is where we got Chad Gable then counter into a reverse DDT. This is where we got the master of the Alpha Academy then hit a German suplex onto Jey Uso once he then tried to go for Samoan drop. And this is where we got Chad Gable's like, okay, now you, Drew, it's your turn for your experience of riding like the highway to the German suplex deal. And this is where he tried to go for it onto Carmelo Hayes, but this is where Carmelo Hayes then flip right out of it, try to springboard right to the right side, hit a back elbow, but Chad Gable caught him in midair. This is where he tried to go for a rolling German suplex when he hit him right to the upper right side turnbuckle. He eventually does go for a German suplex. This is where he took off his suspenders off his onesie, like if he was Kurt Angle. This is where then we got Andrade try to go for German suplex or a face lock. This is where we got Chad Gable elbows him right into the face. This is where then we got Chad Gable then lift up the ladder. This is where we got him then flipping right over and flips it back first right onto Andrade's back. This is where then we got Chad Gable's like, okay, who wants to see me set this ladder up and win Mr. Money in the Bank? There was half of them that won him the B championship. And then this is where the fans are like, okay, we want you to be Mr. Money Bank, but you still suck. And that's where they start chanting, you still suck. Like if he is Kurt Angle, if he's Kurt Angle, like when Kurt Angle was in the Attitude Era, when he still had hair, of course. But this is where we got Chad Gable ignoring that part. He's like, yeah, like the one thing I agree with you on, I do deserve this shot. This is where fans said, you still suck, like even though he is more deserving of becoming a future singles champion. But this is where the megastar grabs on the Gable, pulls him down, put him right into the bottom right side, starts stomping him, saying like, yeah. And this is where fans start chanting, yeah, when he started doing his yes stomp. And then he yelled out, yeah, to everybody. After when he was done this word, then he went right to the upper right side. This is where he turned and spin right to the right in the right side, right side, like right apart from the ladder on his side. This is where he tried to go for a knee, right to the bottom right side, I believe. But this is where we got Chad Gable moving out of the way. He actually hit his knee right into the turnbuckle that he was intending to do to Chad Gable. This is where the Chad Gable then hit a dragon screw onto the megastar. This is where Chad Gable then said like, get out of my way, or I'm gonna do worse damages to that leg. And I was like, man, it reminds me on how like when a certain wrestler that's in the other company just had their legs exactly like that too. Like when their opponent dragon screw slammed their legs hard like that, like except it was like in the upper left side, which I'm not going to get into right now. That's another story for another day. But it kind of reminded me there. I understand why I even brought it up. But this is where we got Chad Gable to start riding right onto the ladder. This is where I tried to hit. This is why I tried to hit it middle. This is where he tried to go, trying to smash LA Knight's head right into some of the steel steps. I'm not reading the ring post in the inner part by him dragging onto the ladder, try to hit him face first and try to cave it in, but LA Knight moved out of the way, and it clicked right onto the ring post, but without LA Knight being home to get destroyed. This is where LA Knight then hit Chad Gable face first right into the turbo and hit a swinging neck breaker right into the back of the head onto the ladder. This is where and this is where then we got Corey Graves and said, like, I'm not sure who exactly got the worst hit of that maneuver, like with the Knight or Chad Gable. This is what fans are saying, holy sugar on the iced tea once again. I thought Carmelo Hayes tried to take advantage of the moment, like by throwing LA Knight out of the ring once he got back up. Or not LA Knight. It was Chad Gable that went on the outside. This is where Carmelo Hayes tried to steal a victory and try to become Mr. Money in the Bank. And I was like, like, can we see it right here? And sadly, that did not happen because Chad Gable pulled him right off. This is where he pulled him right off the top of the ladder. This is where but once he grabbed onto the other ladder that was in the right side, is where he tried to set it up right into the right side. But this is where Carmelo Hayes hit a roundhouse kick right into the head. This is where Carmelo Hayes was like, all right, now's my chance. But this is where we got Chad Gable hit a right hand to the back of the head. This is where we got Chad Gable going for an ankle lock right onto the A champ. This is where we got the leader of El Idolo then go up climbing on the ladder right into the backside to the left corner of the ladder. And he tried to. This is where they try to reach a briefcase, but this is where Michael Cole pointed out the obvious, and I was agreeing. When he said that I don't think Andrade gonna grab the briefcase on that in that side, like because unless he can fly, but obviously we know that he couldn't because he's obviously human and not a bird. Like, I mean, you never know. Like, he could possibly climb up and unhook it. Like, anything's possible in that point. But it's where once Chad Gable found Andrade off, like, it's where then Drew McIntyre grabbed onto Chad Gable's leg. This is where he's about to hit, like, look like go for a future shock, but he's like, you know what? I have a better idea. I'm going to hit him face first right onto the side of the ladder, which he did. It's where he laid it, like, sideways, or not side, but like flat ways right into the upper right side. This is where you got Drew McIntyre and try to go for a power bomb right to that wedge ladder, right to the upper right side. This is where fans are chanting CM Punk, trying to provoke him in some capacity. I was like, man, like you are unmannered fans. Like you're almost worse than the Chicago fans and New York fans combined. But anyways, this is where we got this is where then Drew McIntyre did not give a damn, which I don't blame the Scotsman for that, like because and the one thing I agree with Corey Graves on this, like CM Punk will more likely DM Hunk, and then I'm gonna tell you why exactly. Like I would say the reason why I would, and again I'm gonna tell you later on the reason why I would say like what I'm saying, like because Drew McIntyre had an opportunity of a lifetime, but I'm not gonna get into that in just a moment. But yeah. I don't know why I'm not even saying right now, but anyways, this is where we got Andrade then kind of stop Drew McIntyre from climbing up the top, but this is where he gets Claymore outside the ring, like if he got eliminated if it was the Royal Rumble. Drew McIntyre was back on track. This is where he tried to climb up top of the ladder, trying to unhook the briefcase, but this is where main event Jey Uso stopped him. This is where he pulled him down. This is where he tried to go for Samoan drop, but this is where we got Jey Uso then hit a Glasgow kiss headbutt right onto the main event Uso. This is where LA Knight then hit him with the top part of the ladder face first. This is where we got Jey Uso then followed up with a super kick. LA Knight hits a blood force trauma right after Jey Uso hit a super kick. Here's where we got Jey Uso then went up on the top rope in the upper right side. LA Knight to try to position McIntyre flat on the ground into Jey Uso's corner so he could hit the Uso splash on the Scottish Warrior, which they took out the Scottish Warrior. And this is where we got LA Knight then fell right down to the ground out of exhaustion. But this is where he saw Jey Uso on his way to get up on the ladder. This is where LA Knight then got up real quick. He was like, no, I can't let him do that. As much as I respect Jey Uso, and he's the odds-on favorite, just like I was a year ago now, but now I'm the complete opposite, and I'm actually as the top favorite of winning. Well, I was telling LA Knight, like, Knight, I'm not sure if you know this, but not a lot of people think you are because we might see some shenanigans going on here. But yeah, we're gonna get to that in just a moment about that. But this is where we got LA Knight then hit a right hand to the face. This is where it's like, yeah, and then this is where Jey Uso fought right back and then did a yeet. But there was a battle of the Y words again, and I was like, I guess like they doing this because we don't have a certain American Dragon because he went to another wrestling promotion, like which he still kind of used that the specific Y word that he made famous in WWE, but not him saying it rather than the fans doing it. But that's another story for another day. But this is where we got Jey Uso didn't go for a right hand, like for the yeet, and this where fans were like, yeah. That's where they were going back and forth playing wrestling tennis of which word was better, is it yeah or yeet. This is where then Jey Uso didn't try to grab on the briefcase. This is where LA Knight's like, oh, no, you don't. Like, and plus, yeet's not even a word with all due respect. This is where Jey Uso then got pissed off. Like, how dare you saying that? Like, even for not being a word, like it's still a word to me and the Yeet fans. This is where we got Carmelo Hayes then said what he said yesterday and said like it's not gonna be no Yeet or no yeah, it's only gonna be him. And this is where then he pushed him right off the ladder, sent him right to the bottom corner of the ring. Carmelo Hayes then going for like a somersault flip dodge. Dive, not dodge. Dive. This is where they hit nothing but neck right onto nothing but net on Jey Uso when he got up right on the top of the upper left side corner. This is where Carmelo Hayes was like moments away from capturing the briefcase. This is where he went right up, like this could be Melo's chance, and then this is where it wasn't, unfortunately, because as soon as he got a grab on it, like by a reach, this is where then we got somebody with a ladder in the bottom corner side, then push it right into the ring. And it was none other than the master of El Idolo. This is where he grabbed onto Melo's leg, trying to flapjack them face first right onto the canvas. This is where then he then lay out the ladder like right beside the ladder that he had right to the side and right onto the right. What's that? He placed it right onto the right side of the ladder that was in the right corner side ropes that was wedged in the right. Like what's that? What's that? Like laid like wedged right into that side. That's where he tried to go up right up on the top rope. Not top of ladder. Just where he tried to climb on, try to unhook it. But Melo then grab onto Andrade. So hit some right hand. This is where he was like a few inches away. But this is where he got double teamed by Melo and LA Knight. Like with Melo going to front and LA Knight in the back. This is where we got LA Knight trying to go, but this is where Andrade kicks him right off in the face, off the ladder. This is where he tried to grab onto the ladder. The briefcase. This is where we got Andrade. This is where we got to grab Andrade down, but this is where he what's that escape out of the grasp of the megastar. This is where he did a spot like he did a spot like he did 5 years ago to Finn Balor, and that was the sunset flip powerbomb right onto that wedge ladder on the other side, just like how he did in 2019's Money in the Bank ladder match. He landed back. He landed, but this time was Carmelo Hayes, and he landed him back first hard onto the. Okay. And this is where then Michael Cole nearly said the non-PG word, like if he was the fans, and if he did literally say that, I believe he probably would have gotten away with it. Because considering they were on the streaming, premium streaming service of tonight's premium live event. Yeah, okay, I'm opening it, Birdie Bird. That's where the fans start chanting "Holy Sugar Honey Iced Tea" because they're not so sure if they were literally going to actually see something like this, like he's going to recreate history, or like at this time with Carmelo Hayes, what he did to Finn Balor on that spot 2019, like they always advertised on the commercials like 5 years ago. And this is where, like when he did the sunset flip right onto Melo, hit back first right onto the wedge ladder right into the right side. It was like, how did he in the hell did they did a sunset flip like where like okay, now they killed each other, or killed themselves, like this, like well, I'm gonna become your new Mr. Money in the Bank. But this is where we got Chad Gable counter and hit a German suplex right on top of the ladder, like how Kurt Angle did to Chris Benoit, which I'm not sure why you even say that, on that steel cage match in the early 2000s and the Attitude Era, I believe. But this is where we got LA Knight then kicks him right off of him. This is where we got LA Knight to go for grab on his hands on the briefcase. This is where Josh. This is where he got Chad Gable. Then what's that? Try to pull right LA Knight, but this is where he nearly got caught into a BFT. But this is where we got Chad Gable counters to a German super. He gets elbow strike. LA Knight to try to close on him out of the ring, but this is where he gets tripped over by Chad Gable on the right side. And then he gets hanged right onto the ropes. Like throat first. This is where he hits him back first, right onto the ladder. This is where he hits a belly to belly suplex right with LA Knight right into the wedge ladder, like in the floor, like which led into which unfortunately did not break through like it would normally would do. But it's where then Chad Gable's like, none of that matters now. The only thing that matters most is me getting up on the ladder and become Mr. Money in the Bank. That's where he was like seconds away of doing so. And I'm grabbing on the briefcase only for Jey Uso to push him right off of the ladder. And then he landed him. This is where then he nearly made him fail right onto the right corner side of the ringside area, like concrete floors. But this is where luckily Chad Gable hang on to the hook that was holding on to the Money in the Bank briefcase. It was like, I'm not letting go. I'm not letting go. I'm going to forever be your Mr. Money in the Bank. This is where we got Chad. I mean, this is where we got Corey Graves hilarious that please somebody help Gable, and I was like, like it seems like it's not gonna look good for Gable, even if he lands onto the cushion of the canvas. Like it's still gonna be a very tough and brutal kind of what's that like a brutal like situation though still like and I was like yeah agree on that like somebody help Gable even though he may not deserve any help but nobody don't deserve to be in a very critical condition. This is where we got Jason went to the right side, hit the spear onto Chad Gable. This is where he made him did like I'll say a 90 right up in the air. Well, maybe I should say a 180. I don't know exactly in particular. Maybe it was the 90. This is where we got Jey Uso climbing up right exactly on the ladder. This is where it looked like he was about to win. This is where he about to become Mr. Money in the Bank. This is where once he tried to grab onto it. This is where it's been right into his way. This looked like he's about to become Mr. Money. This is where he was like seconds away from unhooking it. And I was like, wow, did he just literally just is he really gonna just win? Like, and then I was like, like it looked like he's not gonna be waiting for long with Mr. Money in the Bank. Yeah, please. Okay, I will. This is where we got Drew McIntyre and hit face first right onto the ladder. Okay, we'll get you. Good trade. Okay. All right, assassinators, I'm back. This is where we got Drew McIntyre hits Jey Uso face first right onto the ladder. Like once he was when he was up right up on the ladder, this is where he claymored him afterwards. This is where Drew McIntyre took advantage of that moment, like of him being the only one being the winner. And I did not expect this to happen. Like I thought there was gonna be some shenanigans going on, but I guess it was not the night for that. Like, which I think it was a shame, and I'm gonna have to give it the bad thing about the pay-per-view, which I rarely give on my wrestling review videos. But yeah, but the only thing I'm not gonna get bad is the like in the finish, which Drew McIntyre got up on the ladder, he grabbed on the briefcase, and the winner of this match and your new Money in the Bank in 2024, Drew McIntyre. And let me know in the comments below what your thoughts on this match. I'll say I would have to give this match. I'll say the third place spot because the World Heavyweight Championship match gets second. The women's briefcase match, I'll give it a fourth. And then number one, definitely the 6-man tag match because it was extremely exciting. But that's where we got Drew McIntyre. This is where we got Drew McIntyre. Then celebrated. He became Mr. Money in the Bank. Like this is where he became Mr. Money. But this is where we got them wasting no time at all. Like for the next match, which was Braun Breaker taking on Jey Uso. I mean, not Jey Uso. I mean, not say Jey Uso. I mean, what am I even talking about now? This is where we got the match starting. This is where Braun Breaker did not waste no time at all. Just went up and attacked Sami and then did some gruesome pain right onto the current Intercontinental Championship until Sami Zayn brought him on the outside. This is where he hits him with that leg dropping on the top rope moonsault. This is where we got Sami then threw Braun Breaker back in the ring. This is where he then started hitting some repeated knife edge chops, which I believe he was showing Gunther that he's not afraid to fight him again. Like he will fight him anytime he plays anywhere, and he'll be willing to get a rematch, and he'll be prepared that he's going to be murking him by hitting this maneuver, even though he's not an AEW guy. But yeah, at the same time, even though it was made for AEW wrestlers, but you don't entirely have to be an AEW wrestler to be on the envy list. You can also be the guys that you can also be from TNA, WWE, Major League, AAA, CMLL, etc. Like whatever company that everybody's watching, or that's or even the least most popular ones. But this is where we got Sami Zayn then try to go for what's that right hand side, but this is where he tried to go for a clothesline. Braun Breaker dodged out of it, hits a clothesline of his own when he was coming from the left side. This is where then Braun Breaker was not wasting no time. This is where there was a time to break him in half. This is where then he nearly did so to the current Intercontinental Champion. This is where then Braun Breaker's like, and then this is where then. Or more likely called a Steiner line, because this is what, Corey Graves corrected Michael Cole and said they're more like a Steiner line, like it's like his dad and uncle would used to do in their time in wrestling. This is where then they grab onto Sami Zayn that was on the ground, and this is where he hits a belly-to-belly suplex onto the current Intercontinental Champion. This is where then we got. And this is where fans start chanting for Sami. Let's go, Sami. This is where Braun Breaker's like that's very peculiar, because I would expect you for cheering for me being new champions, considering what you've been saying on the internet, predicting me about them. But it seems like that y'all are complete confused hypocrites. This is where he starts stomping onto their favorite wrestler. This is where they start booing them because he kind of call them hypocrites. This is where then the fans are like, boo, and this is where he starts stomping, with the referee start counting all the way to 3. This is where he then went to the left side, Rose went right back to the right, hit a boot in his face. This is where then we got Braun then and started mocking him like, ole, 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 that was a very hilarious spot, like, which I believe this definitely gets the goofy wrestling of the night spot. Like, am I mistaken? Not really, right? Because it was mostly wrestling. It was serious wrestling, like the rest of the time of the night. This is where then we got Sami Zayn started hitting the knife edge chop right on the Braun Breaker. This is where he tried to go for a right hand, but this is where he gets stopped with him kneeing Sami Zayn right into the midsection, right and then putting it back first right into the right corner side turnbuckle. This is where he hits the belly to belly super. Try to go for a pin, but he only got a 2.2 count. He got right up to this is where then got Braun Breaker's like I expect him to kick out of that in some capacity, but I did not know it's gonna be like in this way. Like way before it's even 2.9. This is where we got him Irish whip right to the upper left side. This is where Sammy then countered, hit him face first right with his left boot. This is where he goes from the middle rope, try to go for a big right elbow. This is where Braun Breaker caught him. This is where he tried to go for a German, but this is where he gets elbow right into the face by the right, the Intercontinental Champion. This is where he starts striking repeatedly more and more. Where he then grab onto his hand. This is where he did his slap on the chest, which I believe he definitely getting number one. Getting the number one on the list. And I was like, Sammy, I don't think you should be doing more because what if the Lean General comes back and not for that Intercontinental Championship, but wants to destroy you by mocking him like with his signature maneuver. This is where then he goes right up on the top rope in the upper left side, hits a springboard tornado DDT like if he was the indie luchador again, like if he was El Generico, but he's no longer that character. He's now Sami Zayn. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but he only got a 2.4 count. This is where we got Sami Zayn and try to crawl and try to get right back up. Hey, come on. And telling himself, like, come on, Sammy. This is where we got Sami Zayn to launch Braun Breaker out of the ring once he launched him with a clothesline out of the ring on the left side once he got Irish whipped by Braun Breaker. Like with him going for that springboard leaping dodge maneuver that he always do. Like that's where he knocked him over. Sami Zayn then was getting ready to hit the dive onto him right into the right side, I believe. This is where I don't know, he didn't do that yet. He went right underneath the ropes, trying to collect Braun Breaker by landing right off the apron. This is where he tried to go for a knife edge chop. This is where he did not only one, but maybe a couple more. He was trying to go. This is where he tried to go. This is where he tried to Irish whip Sami Zayn right to the bottom corner turnbuckle on the left side. But this is where he jumped up right on top, hit a springboard like moonsault right onto the former NXT champion. This is where he tried to driven Sammy face first right into the ring post, but this is where Sami Zayn moved out of the way. Hits him face first on that exact same post. This is where then we got Sammy then rolled back in the ring. This is where we got. It's where then Braun Breaker then is like I'm having an extremely bad headache. This is where then Sami Zayn's like too bad, like you. But I need you to get back here so I can beat you fair and square. This is where he grabbed onto Braun Breaker. This is where then he throw him. This is where he threw him right to the right side. This is where then we got Sami Zayn who went down right into the bottom corner ring side. This is where then he ran and this is where he did the Finn Balor pose of pointing. This is where then he tried to go for a haluva kick right onto the barricade. But this is where we got Braun Breaker flying a clothesline out of an interception, decapitating Sammy in the process. This is where we got Braun Breaker I don't think that was a good idea. This is where then he was down onto the ground. This is where we got Braun Breaker putting Sammy Zayn back in the ring. Braun Breaker was about to finish him off by trying to go for a spear because he had him right in position after he did that big hook. And this is where he gets booted right to the face. This is where he hits him with a blue thunder bomb, which Simon would like to call it the least most devastating move in all professional wrestling. And I was like, what? And I guess I was right on when I made my AEW Rampage review. I was saying something just tells me Sammy's going to hit that maneuver, even though nowadays he hardly hits that maneuver because he's starting to understand what Simon's saying in a way, but at the same time, he's trying to prove him wrong that he's going to win with this maneuver. But unfortunately, unfortunately, that didn't happen. To be a spoiler, that did not give him the win. Like, and Simon's probably gonna talk about that. Because I understand why Sammy does not listen to me. Like, he should just accept the facts that you're not gonna win this with this maneuver. Like, not in the American soil or Canadian soil. Like, if it's not Saudi Arabia, he's not gonna win with this maneuver. I mean, even for Saudi Arabia recently this year, like he couldn't even win with that maneuver there as well. Like he always keep failing to do so. Like, and it seems like it's back to being a curse maneuver of hitting, but this is where we got Sami Zayn and grab onto the Braun Breaker, try to go for a brain buster, but this is where he rams him right into the upper right side. It's where they put him right up on the top rope. It's where we got Braun Breaker to try to go for some kind of avalanche maneuver. And then we got Sami Zayn and start repeatedly hitting right hands to the face of the current NXT champion, but this is where Braun Breaker the counter hit a right hand and then hit an uppercut on top of that. This is where we got Braun Breaker then try to go up right up on the top rope, try to hit him with a Hurricane Rana, I believe, but this is where we got This where then we got Braun Breaker then hit his dad and uncle's signature maneuver, hit a top rope Frankensteiner, like right off the top rope, slamming him right to the ground. This is where then he tried to go for a pin. This is where fans were like, "Holy sugar honey iced tea." And I was like, the reason why I'll give it the 5th place spot because we had so many great matches. Like we could start like from 1 to 5. This is where fans were chanting, "This is awesome." But I'll tell you, you know what? I don't think I should put it in that category. Maybe I could make the World Heavyweight Championship match the 5th place spot, women's briefcase, the 4th place spot. Like, you know what? I could do it that way. I just saying like the World Heavyweight Championship was pretty good, but it could have been a little bit better, or I don't know, like just that I did not agree with the planned spot, like a couple of things. But this is where we got Braun Breaker just started some right hands. Fans were saying this is awesome, bad mouthing Sami Zayn in the process. I think I should give this a 2nd place spot because this was pretty entertaining, even though like it did not end it like the way we expected it to be. But still, it was a great and entertaining match. But yeah, this is where then we got Braun Breaker to try to go for a spear. Once he rolled right to the opposite side diagonally and the left corner ringside, try to sneak up and try to go for a spear like he did Monday night. This is where Sami Zayn leaped, and then this is where he nearly hit face first right onto the Simba Steel Step, but he stopped himself before the incident happened this past Monday on Raw. This is where we got Braun Breaker then hits Sami Zayn face first right onto the announce table, like with like in the announce table, like right into the face of the announce table. This is where he leaps over right onto the right side of the apron. This is where he hits a flying cross clothesline right onto the announce table. This is where he rolled right over in the back of the what's that called, the barricade. This is where we got Sami Zayn and it's where the Braun Breaker kind of tweaked his knee that was in his left side. This is where then he throws Sami Zayn right back in the ring. This is where Braun Breaker rolled back in as well. This is where he tweaked his knee. This is where we got Braun Breaker to grab onto Sami, start choking him to death. This is where he tried to go for a gorilla press, but this is where we got Sami counter out of it, flip right out of it. This is where he went right to the upper right side. Braun Breaker tried to go for a running attack move, but this is where he gets turned over because he did not know what move to do. Another ginormous mistake that happened on tonight's Premium Live event. But this time with Braun Breaker, this is where he gets exploder suplex right into the upper right side. Sami Zayn then start getting ready, like from position to hit his finishing maneuver, which was the Helluva Kick. But this is where he got picked off and countered with with Braun Breaker start taking the page out of Roderick Strong's playbook, hit a knee strike right to his face. Braun Breaker then and got back up. This is where then he tried to go for a gorilla press slam, which he successfully did that maneuver, slamming him, which got the guarantee of it that maneuver because, like, I'll say, the rules in wrestling. Like if it doesn't work the first time, it's gonna be the second time, which happened to the other wrestler. Like after like Braun Breaker tried to go for a spear, but this is where Sami Zayn countered. This is where he hit him with a big kick right to the face. That's where he waited for him to get to the bottom right corner side turnbuckle. If it doesn't work the first attempt, the second attempt is gonna be a guarantee. But if not, then it's gonna then that means he's double cursed, and you have to find the three clover to get the third time as a charm. But it's where Sami Zayn went for the pin. He got the 1, 2, 3, and you're a winner and still the Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn. And I want to give a huge congratulations for retaining his Intercontinental Championship. It was not like how we expected it to be because it seemed like that Braun Breaker was going to become the new champion. Maybe it's for the best, because he can have much more of a little bit of a lengthier reign until like SummerSlam or Bash in Berlin get here, and then he can have like a little bit over a 4-month reign at least, if not 6. And then I think if it's not going to be Braun Breaker, maybe it could be like Sheamus that should be the one to dethrone him, and he can have a little bit of a short reign. You don't have to be like Gunther's reign of over 600 days. Maybe it could be just like a 30 or 40-day reign until he drops it to like a Ludwig Kaiser or a Braun Breaker, like somebody that needs that championship to get a boost up in the main event scene. If they're going to be a single star trying to succeed in WWE. But let's move on to the next slide. Let me know what your thoughts on this match. Do you think Sami Zayn should retain there, or do you think it should have been Braun Breaker and he was already ready to become champion, and he needs something that's going to be a stepping stone and before he getting to be, because he's getting to be a main event like the main event level wrestlers. Yeah, that's right. He's in the main event level kind of division. But that's probably give him about a year or two. He kind of looks like it, but he's still he needs some developments there. So yeah, this would have been a good stepping stone for him to achieve in his main roster run. But it is what it is. I believe he could be Intercontinental Champion before this year is over. I can just predict it by now, because we should do Sheamus versus Sami, either at SummerSlam or Bash in Berlin, which we can finally see Sheamus get his moment and win the Intercontinental Champion, becoming the Ultimate Grand Slam Champion. But let's move on to the next slide. Let's talk about the surprise appearance of Trish Stratus, which it was announced that she's the host of WWE's Money in the Bank Premium Live event, but she wasn't the only surprising return on WWE television, because she announced that who else was in the house that's also a legendary former multi-time champion as well, and his name is John Cena, I guess you could say. And yes, he was here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, on this latest premium live event of Money in the Bank. Is where he gave out his never gave up towel to one of the fans right to the left side, I believe, when he was entering the ring. That's where he then conducts some business in his return to WWE. That's where fans Cena, they're going crazy. And I was I did not expect. I did not expect Cena to be here at all. I would expected it to be in a much more bigger pay-per-view like SummerSlam, or at least Bash in Berlin, or Crown Jewel perhaps, or even Survivor Series, anytime of a big pay-per-view before the year is over. Like I all expected that, but not on a B plus pay per view like Money in the Bank. Like last year when they were in London, like when he teased that we could possibly see WrestleMania be in London in the next couple of years. But yeah, this is where he's like, hey everybody, Toronto, like let's make some noise here. This is where fans like, yes, I will do, Cena. This is where then. Because you are our favorite. He's like, that is why I am here right now. Like, and I believe he kind of made a mistake right here, not to be the one to judge, but I thought I might point out because this was also Goofy Wrestling next to who was Goofy Wrestling? I think it was Braun Breaker, yeah, because he was mocking Sami Zayn's fans by chanting "Ole, ole, ole, ole," like "Oh, shut the hell up," like or something like that. This is where we got Cena was like, okay, and tonight, like I have official now that I'm gonna announce my official retirement of the WWE, and not like in the same night. He's like, no, like not tonight, but I will be doing a retirement tour. Like, and this is where he started explaining. When his fans were like, "Thank you, Cena. Thank you, Cena." Dude, and then this is where then John Cena explained like saying like he's not getting any younger, and then he had one hell of a run for over 2 decades of winning multiple championships, like even tying Ric Flair's record of being a 16-time world champion in his career. And he's like, but I'm gonna talk about that in just a moment. Like, but what I'm gonna talk about here is Toronto. Right now, and this is where fans are like, yeah, please. This is John Cena's like, you know, as a matter of fact, I want to talk about Canada more specifically, and this is where then the fans like, yeah, and then this is where he's like, you know what, like I have a better idea. How about I talk about Canadians? This is where it's like, yeah, like us Canadians here, like we love you. This is where Cena's like, he's like, I've been in the W for 20 years, like it, and I cannot. He said and then this is the and I gotta tell you, like this is the hottest ticket selling town, and no doubt about it. Like, and then this is where fans are saying, yeah, absolutely. This is where CM Punk's like, and then the only most dedicated, like hardcore fans, like stand by your side, like, and this is where then fans like, yeah, like tell it, Cena. This is where Cena's like, but all those years ago, like one of the most important, like one of the most impressive things that I learned here, like is when of the WWE is when it's hot, like what's cold, like and then he's like, and that's when the Canadians always show up, and he's like, and that's for real, like, and I appreciate that. This is where fans are like, yeah, like you are very welcome. This is where. Fans are saying like, "Thank you, Cena. Thank you, Cena." That's where then Cena was very emotionally happy, like from this from them showing some the respect and the tribute to him, like of like his hard work from the last. I'll say from the last 20 years or something like that is where we got from the last 20 years. Yeah, that's where I'll say not like I'm saying it like I don't care. I'm just saying it like in a way that like he did it for like quite like yeah, he like for him being a big name and an entertainment, whether they there was the fans that loved him or the fans that hate him, they had a very fun time within his run in WWE. Like from over 20 years of Cena, like whether if he was champion or having big moments, main eventing WrestleMania or any wrestling shows in general, like in his prime. And this where then Cena then finished off saying like he's like, I may be retiring like soon, but not right now. Like why now? Like why do I need to retire now? Like I'm not saying like just because I announced that I'm gonna be retiring soon, like doesn't mean that I'm gonna be doesn't mean that I'm doing so right now. Like why now? Like it's too soon. Like it's too early. Like it's I cannot retire right now. Like, yeah, there's still enough fight left in me. This is where he's like, and this is Money in the Bank we're talking about right here. And this is where fans like, yeah, like why not? This is where John Cena, the ultimate the symbol of opportunity. And then he said, like, in his farewell tour, like, it's not going to be ending tonight. Like, it's going to be filled with opportunity after opportunities. He's like, and everybody, like, Raw makes history next year when it moves to the biggest streaming service in the world, which that being Netflix. And then this is where it's like, yeah, I could never thought. And he's like, and then this is where John Cena's like, I never thought they would be on Netflix. Like, if you told me like a decade ago, like, and this is where he's like, and then this is the history, and that's the first, and I will be there on the debut show of Netflix. And he's like, and then along in that history making first, like, we are going to be building like so many unforgettable lasts, like in 2025, like, and he's like. And he said, like, in the year of 2025 will be my last. And I was being so sad, like, that Cena's going to be ending his career on that year, which is less than 12 months from now. This is where he's like, next year's Royal Rumble will be my last. And he said, Elimination Chamber will be my last. And then next year, when WrestleMania 41 is going to be in Las Vegas, like, that's also going to be my last. And then this is where then and he's like, in a press conference, like, I'm gonna be talking about like everything about my retirement. Like, so like feel free to ask me any questions about that category. And yeah, he did so. Like he must have it must have like took him like about a half an hour, like if not a little bit over that, like for him to get done, like in this press conference, like on the press conference, like because he had so much to talk about, like about his retirement and even things about his time in WWE and outside of his run, like when him in Hollywood and other projects he's doing that's non-wrestling related and other things like that. Yeah, which he had so much to talk about. All the journalists were asking so many questions and then ask him their speculations about like what's the future of the former 16-time champion. But this where then John Cena then finish things off. He's like, my final run starts right now. So anybody in the back here wants a piece of Cena, like in his final run in WWE, yeah, come and get some, like his catchphrase. And that's when they start playing his music. This is where he kind of left the building, and this is where he started waving the fans goodbye for now, because this is the beginning of his final run in WWE. And when do you think he's going to be getting back in the ring, like for matches, like one more last time in the next how many months from now till April? By now, it's July, so about 9 months. Yeah. So let me know in the comments below what exactly John Cena is going to be doing for the last 9 months in his final run in the Stanford-based company and his time in professional wrestling in general. Let me know down in the comment section right down below. It's going to be very sad. It's not going to be the same without Cena, because like he said and everybody else said, like he at least had one match a year, like even. Like ever since 2002, like when like he got started, like in his first debut match against Kurt Angle, and then his last match as the last to date, like with him teaming with the Miz and R-Truth, the former World Tag Team Champions that were the Raw Tag Team Champions at the time before they got their tag titles rebranded against the Judgment Day, JD McDonough, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section right down below about that. Like, and who do you think is going to be his next next opponent, like in 2024? 2024, like going on to 2025, which he confirms that he's going to be at the 2025's first show of Monday Night Raw, debuting on Netflix in January of that year. But let's move on to the next slide. And what was your reaction of the shocking return and appearance of John Cena at tonight's Premium Live event? Let me know all about that in the comments. But this is where we got Damian Priest went to the Judgment Day. This is where he informed, Balor, McDonough, Carlito, and Mysterio to say, like, stay back here. like Seth Rollins is all mine, and then whatever. And if Drew McIntyre ever shows up with the money in the briefcase trying to cash in on me, like let me deal with him. This is between me and him. And same goes with Rollins. Like, okay, and this is where they understood, and it seemed like they actually did understood because surprisingly they did not interfere in this match. Well, none of these guys, but let's say we will be seeing some interference like later on once we did saw Drew McIntyre attempt to cash in his briefcase. But let's move on to the next slide. This is where we got Seth Rollins entered the ring next. After that, this is where we got Damian Priest was not so long after. This is where they got started in the match. This is where we got Damian Priest got the offense after they were done doing their little grappling war, like on who's going to get the first offense of the match, which was the Punisher of the Judgment Day. He sent him right to the upper right side. He hits a big flying elbow strike right into the face. This is where then he then followed that up with a what move was it? Like he then started posing, doing a little arrogant pose. That's where we got the fans start doing this, doing the "Whoa" song chant to Seth Rollins. This is where the Damian Priest like, really? Like, I know Seth Rollins is a fan favorite, but did you really have to go this far, like of taunting me with his song? And then this is where fans were just singing it while giving no cares what Damian Priest said. This is where then you start looking at the entrance, seeing there's no sign of Drew McIntyre because you never know if he's gonna show up, like whether if it's like with his entrance music or without his entrance music, because he promised to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. And whenever he wins the Money in the Bank contract, which he did that, and then let's just say he's going to be a man of his word. But I'm going to talk more about that later on after this recap of the match. Is where we got Seth Rollins intercepted Damian Priest when he tried to go for another big elbow strike right onto Seth Rollins. You know, like the same signature finishing maneuver. It wasn't a guaranteed the second attempt. Once the first one was successful, that's where then he sling blade him an interception, clothesline Priest right to the right side afterwards. This is where then he followed that one up with a suicide dive. Once he went right to the right corner side ropes, that's where he hit him face. He made him get face first right onto the announce table. Once he suicide dived the first time, this is where he tried to go for a second attempt, which he was double lucky, hitting the double whammy onto Damian Priest. This is where then he ran right back in the ring. This is where then he tried to go for a third time, and this is the charm in a row, which he successfully did. When he landed right on the outside, right onto the back side of the announce table, right over the announce table and right to the back side of the area. This is where Michael Cole and Corey Graves moved out of the way. They must have knew this was going to be happening because, they were already long gone before Seth Rollins made Damian Priest went into that side of the announce table. Now, this is where we got Damian Priest. They got grabbed by Seth Rollins right in the back of his hair. This is where he threw him right back in the ring. This is where Seth Rollins then go for a springboard knee strike, but this is where Priest then knew it was coming. He moved right out of the way to the right side. This is where he hits a discus boot, but this is where we got Seth Rollins moving right out of the way. This is where he hits a schoolboy roll up. This is where he hits a super kick right into the noggin. This is where the Seth Rollins then went right into the right side on the apron by hanging onto the right corner ropes. Hits a springboard swanton right into the midsection. This is where then he gave a big grin, then go for a springboard moonsault right into the midsection. This is where we got Rollins going for a cover. Damian Priest kicks out at 2.3. This is where then Seth Rollins like, man, like I was not expecting this on my bingo card. Like, yeah, like I but despite that, I was not at the same time I was not expecting to win with that maneuver, but I would thought that it might be a lucky maneuver to put him away by, but this is where he then try to go for a super kick right onto the midsection, hits a discus elbow. This is where then he try to go for that spinning neck breaking right hand to the back of the neck. This is where Damian Priest counter, hit him with his version of Dean Ambrose's former version of the Dirty Deeds, like which is like a running bulldog driver maneuver. Like, and this is where he grabbed onto Seth Rollins. This is where he trying to go for South of Heaven's choke slam, but this is where Seth Rollins countered into a Hurricane Rana. This is where he tried to grab onto his legs. This is where we got Seth Rollins get hit with a wicked clothesline right to the face. This is where then Damian Priest started looking on the entrance because he was not sure if Drew McIntyre was coming out with his briefcase. This is where then he grabbed onto Rollins, hits him with the the Razor's Edge power bomb, but Seth Rollins counter out of the way. He went right to the upper right side. This is where he countered and moved out on the side, like with Damian Priest trying to go for like a spring right side. This is where he hits a pump knee strike right into the face, right into the head of Priest. This is where then we got Seth then going to the upper right corner side, then going for this is where we go for a frog splash. This is where we try to go for a pinfall cover. This is where we got Priest and got the left shoulder up at 2.7, I believe. This is where we got Seth Rollins then get back up. We got on his knees. This is where we got. This is where we try to go for a super kick. This is where we got Seth Rollins and go for a right forearm right to the back of the head. This is where then we got Seth Rollins then try to go for a curb stomp. This is where we got Damian Priest flipping right over to the top corner. This is where he landed. This is where he hits him with a forearm strike. This is where we got Seth Rollins then going up right onto the top rope. But this is where he gets hit with a right forearm right into the head. This is where we got Damian Priest then try to go up right on the top rope with him. This is where he then try to go for like an avalanche suplex or maybe a Hurricane Rana, but this is where Seth Rollins flipped right out of it. This is where he tried to go for a sunset flip. This is where he hit him right to the other side in the diagonal corner to the bottom right side of the turnbuckle. Hit him with the buckle bomb. This is where he tried to go for a curb stomp, but this is where he gets intercepted by Damian Priest into a last ride sit out version of the power of that specific power bomb, or like a set out version of the last ride, might be rephrased that like a generic finishing maneuver of a WWE creation from 2K. This is where we got Damian Priest go for a pin, but Seth Rollins got the left shoulder up at 2.8. This is where he was still keeping his eyes on the entrance. I was like, if I was you, Damian Priest, like maybe like he's gonna be if I was you, Damian Priest, I'll be looking in the back entrance